The scream came from room 301 at 3 in the morning, and it sounded exactly like me. I was standing alone at the nurse's desk when I heard it, and I knew with absolute certainty that something inside that room was alive and waiting. I worked the night shift at a hospital so old that even the walls seemed tired. Most floors were quiet. Monitors beeped softly, lights hummed. But the third floor was different. It was sealed off years ago after an incident no one liked to describe. Every staff member knew the rule: never go near room 301, never listen if it calls. I tried to believe the scream was just stress playing tricks on my mind. I took a deep breath and checked the security monitors. Every camera on the third floor showed static, except one. The camera facing room 301 was crystal clear. The door was open. A red emergency light above it pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat. The hallway around it looked darker than the rest of the floor, as if the light itself refused to enter. I told myself I was just doing my job. Okay? I grabbed a flashlight and stepped into the stairwell. Okay? Each step echoed way too loudly. The air grew colder with every floor I climbed. By the time I reached the third floor, my hands were numb. The smell hit me first: old blood, rust, damp cloth. The hallway lights flickered as I walked. Paint peeled from the walls in long strips that looked like skin. My footsteps sounded wrong, as if someone else was walking just a half second behind me. Room 301 waited at the end of the corridor. The door creaked wider as I approached. I didn't touch it. Inside the room, the temperature dropped sharply. My breath fogged the air. A bed sat in the center with stained sheets and leather restraints. Dark marks covered the walls in uneven streaks. Blood seeped from cracks in the floor and pooled beneath the bed. Then, the door slammed shut behind me. I spun around, tried the handle. It wouldn't move. The light above flickered and went red. A monitor on the wall turned on by itself and began to beep slowly. Then I heard breathing. It came from inside the walls, deep and wet, like lungs filled with liquid. A shape pushed out of the wall near the head of the bed. A face formed first. Eyes without pupils, a mouth stretched far too wide. Blood poured from it, running upward instead of down. The ghost pulled itself free and hovered inches above the floor. Its body was twisted, as if broken and reassembled incorrectly. It opened its mouth and screamed. The sound wasn't loud, it was heavy. It pressed into my chest, making it hard to breathe. More shapes emerged. Hands pressed through the walls, leaving bloody impressions. Faces followed, dozens of them. Patients, nurses, some still wore their uniforms. All of them were screaming silently as blood streamed from their eyes. The floor trembled. A woman appeared near the bed. She wore a torn hospital gown, soaked dark. Hair floated around her head like smoke. Symbols were carved deep into her skin, glowing red. Blood flowed from her stitched-shut eyes and dripped onto the floor, where it moved on its own, forming circles. The witch. I recognized her from whispers shared during night shifts, a patient brought in decades ago after neighbors reported rituals and missing people. She was placed in room 301 and never left. She didn't walk. She drifted closer. The restraints snapped shut around my wrists and ankles, pulling me onto the bed. The mattress pulsed beneath me like a living thing. Blood soaked through my clothes, warm and thick. The witch spoke without moving her mouth. She said, "The room feeds on fear." She said, "The walls remember every scream." She said, "The ghosts can't leave because the room won't let them." The breathing grew louder. The walls began to bleed heavily. Now, thick streams running down and pooling on the floor, rising fast. The smell of iron filled my mouth. I gagged as blood touched my lips. The ghosts crowded closer. Cold hands pressed against my skin. I felt memories that weren't mine. Pain, fear, final moments repeated again and again. The witch placed her hand on my chest. I felt my heart slow. She showed me the truth. Room 301 wasn't sealed to protect people from it. It was sealed to contain it. The room itself was alive. It needed souls to survive. The witch was its keeper. The ghosts were its voice. The restraints loosened suddenly. The blood drained back into the walls. The ghosts faded. The lights returned to normal. The door swung open. The witch whispered one last sentence. Someone must stay. I ran. I didn't look back until I reached the stairwell. My clothes were clean. My skin was unmarked. When I checked the time, it was 3:15. Security footage showed nothing. The third-floor cameras had gone dark. I quit the hospital the next day. Months passed. I moved away. I slept better, almost. Then, last night, I heard a scream through my apartment wall. It was my voice, clear, panicked, calling for help. I checked every room. I was alone. The door at the end of the hallway creaked open. A number was carved into the wood, 301. If you enjoyed the story, please like and subscribe.